Oh my goodness. So I was recording and going through this long, drawn out story, and I just got sick of listening to me. I figured everybody else would too. So I deleted that one, and now we're going to start over with what I intended to. Hi, Aspen. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. Um, the whole point of me wanting to do this video on January 20th, Monday, January 20th, MLK Day. Um, there's something else that went on today, but there's a big thing that's going on tonight. It's the CFP championship game. Okay, honey. All right, you need to get off of me because I have black on and you're white, and I have white furs all over me. No fighting. So, I have been, well, this was like actually the first horary book that I bought is Sports Astrology, John Frawley. And I was signed up to take horary from School of Traditional Astrology, STA, School of Traditional Astrology. But I was too excited and like I couldn't wait because it like wasn't going to start until February. This is a couple years ago, but yeah, it was like in 2022, the fall of 2022. I signed up in October and it didn't start until February, and I was just like, oh. So I bought like all these books because I just wanted to learn horary. Oh my god! So anyway, I bought this book and I read it cover to cover. It's really good. It's funny, like it's amusing because he talks about like he's like this master, and some kid comes find him, and he's got this goat and he's got this raven, and I mean it's just kind of like a humorous background that he puts the lessons into so that you're following us. And anyway, it's very entertaining. But at the time that I read it, a lot of it was going because I hadn't learned horary yet. And I just have to tell you that STA, School of Traditional Astrology, is the best place to learn horary. If you are ever interested in horary, that is the place to go. With Wade Caves and Deborah Holding, and they're just fabulous, just amazing. And I think oh no, what are you eating? Oh no, what is that? Ma'am, oh dear. What is that? Okay, I gotta stop recording. So I don't even know what it is, but it's wood. She's pulled a piece of wood and she just totally chewed it up. I have no idea. I'm afraid to find what it would be. Anyway, so I love just reading horary. People that have already like resolved something, and I love reading their interpretations of it. And so I pulled this book back out. I wish I had done it earlier. I really do, because it would have been fun to do this during the football season. I'm not 100% sure it'll work for basketball, but we're going to try it. But so just as far as doing a horary goes, I know how to read a horary chart. But for a sporting event, you set it for the time of the kickoff or whatever. And so I did that this morning, and it is right here. Oops. Why are you skinny? Don't do that. Why are you skinny? What is happening? Yeah, I want you big. Goodness. I don't know. Can you all see that? I don't know why it's doing this. I don't know why it's not giving me largeness, but I think you can still see that. Anyway, yeah, it's not letting me get it bigger. So you set it for the time of kickoff and the location of the kickoff, because this is an event chart. It's not like a horary chart like you would say, in a horary chart, you would say, are we going to win? But in this situation, neither team is a we for me. Like I don't care really about Ohio State or Notre Dame. I enjoy football. College football. I enjoy college football. We'll make that clear. Professional sports, I'm just not into. But anyway, so my system would be that you look at this, the first house is the home team, and then you've got the away team on the other side, on the seventh house. And then you look at the planet that rules that, and you look at where it is, and then you look at the planet that rules the seventh house, and you look at where it is, and you go through all their dignities, and any kind of like debilities, or the strength of the houses that they're in, aspects. And then you look at the moon, and there's like this whole pattern. And so I'm looking at it and I'm going, oh, okay, well, the home team is Notre Dame, and so Notre Dame is ruled by the sun. Yellow helmets, there you go, that gold shiny helmet. That makes sense. That would be Notre Dame. But totally conjunct combust with Pluto. It's not a cazimi. I don't even know that Pluto can be cazimi because it's so freaking far away. So I doubt that you would ever use the term cazimi, but it's not a cazimi anyway, because it's more than 17 and a half minutes of arc, or whatever that word would be. And it's cadent in the 6th house, and it's in its sign of debility. I'm not saying the right word there. I don't know. Because it rules Leo, and it's in Aquarius, which is the opposite of its rulership. So it's debility. Why am I anyway? So yeah, sun's like negative 10 points, I think, or something. It's below the horizon. It's a night chart. Both luminaries are below the horizon. So Notre Dame is not looking that good in this situation. It's in an opposition. Well, that one's going there, so that's a separating opposition. Aspect wise, yeah, just not a lot. And then you'll get Saturn, which rules the 7th house. So this would be, in my system, this would be Ohio State, and it's in a secedent house, but it's the 8th house, which is a dark house. So it's not like 12, 8, and 6 are like meh houses. It's like meh. But it's conjunct Venus, and Venus is exalted there. So that's a kind of an accidental dignity for Saturn. And it's in this beautiful sextile to the midheaven, which the midheaven is like victory, right? I don't know that it would be victory though well, in my system it would be, but I don't know if that's, like I said, who knows? So just based on those few things, and then you look at the moon to kind of get an idea of what's happening. And because there's nothing angular, I mean, Jupiter is the only planet in an angular house, but it's so far away from the cusp that it's hard to even say that angularity is giving it any benefit. Like everything's cadent. We've got these 4 cadent, did I say that was cadent or secedent? That's secedent, but still a negative house. Yeah, because it's secedent, angular, cadent. Secedent, angular, cadent. Secedent, angular, cadent. The moon's in a cadent. I mean, it's just like there's just like nothing happening. What's happening? This is going to be a very boring game, is what I was thinking looking at this. It's like it's going to be like major defense everywhere. The moon is applying to a square to this retrograde debilitated Mars. Maybe that's the word, debilitated. Who knows? But Mars is debilitated in the sign of its fall, because it's exalted in Capricorn. So it's fallen in Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon, but Mars would be the sign of its detriment. That's the word, detriment, because Mars rules Aries. And so they're both, well, the moon is like, oh, I want to help you, and Mars is just like, I'm miserable over here. I hate it here. And the moon is kind of like, and you can't help me because I'm in the sign of your detriment. And so this Mars is a nasty Mars. So it's like, that's the only thing going on here is this square. And so it's just like, what's going to happen? Like, is this just going to be a really strong defensive, and now and the angles are all fixed signs, so slow, determined, just not much excitement. You just don't see a lot of excitement, and you wonder, like, I mean, I've just looked at this chart with Dr. Olomi, did a not this particular, I mean, but today's chart for the other thing that happened today. And so, there was like, there's nothing good going on. There's nothing good. So yeah, so I was like, okay, well, maybe this football game is gonna like totally suck and be a boring thing. But then I got my John Frawley book out and looked for the section that he has on contests or, this type of situation, championships. And I have all of my notes. It's all very exciting. And so his system for championships or like Super Bowl or, like this doesn't work. You couldn't use this system for every game. That's why I'm saying I don't think I could use it for basketball unless when we get to like the Final Four or something, I might try it. But I'll have to go back to my system for those games where the home team and yeah. And because this system, you don't even look at the essential dignities of the planets. You look at the first house represents the favorite, who's favored to win the game. And that's kind of weird because then you have to like rely on Vegas or whoever's deciding who's favored, the experts, I guess. And so that's kind of like, okay, well, but anyway, so that's who's favored, and then it's the sun, and then who's the underdog, and so the favored team apparently by 8.5 points is Ohio State. And so the underdog is Notre Dame. Oh, well, that is the total opposite of the system that I was doing. So you're supposed to then look at house placements. And so you're looking at the Lord of the first house. So you look at the sun, and you just look at the house placement, not the sign, not the dignities or anything, but it's in the 6th house. So it's not like on the cusp of anything. It's just sitting there in the 6th house. And then you look at the 7th, the Lord of the 7th house, which is Saturn, and Saturn's in here in the 8th house, and it is on the cusp, but that's fine. It's within the 8th house. And then he has you look at the 10th house for the favorite and the 4th house for the underdog, because this would be the 10th from the 7th. So then we look at Venus, and Venus is sitting right there on top of Saturn in the 8th house, but not on the cusp. It's inside the house. Because I mean, even if we called these on the cusp, because it is just a degree, and it's actually not even a full degree for Saturn. It's like half a degree. So Saturn is on the cusp, but anyway, Venus is further away. And so the closer something is, the stronger. So being in this house is stronger for Saturn, but it's not even an angular house. So so I'm kind of like talking out of the side of my mouth here. It doesn't matter. And then Mars rules the 4th house. So we want to look at the condition of Mars, not just the house placement. And it's over here on the cusp of the 12th house. So none of those are, screaming that they have great placements. It's like meh, 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 and meh. So then we check the house placement of the moon, and the moon is in a cadent house. And it's now he didn't talk about this for this system, but it's in the road of fire. Why can't I remember what that's called? God, whenever I turn on the camera, my brain just goes, no, I don't know what to say. But it's in from 15 Libra to 15 Scorpio is the Via del Fire. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, because the moon is not representing anybody, it's just representing the path of things, what's going to happen. But that says what's going to happen. Like it's like lots of fire, lots of that would sound like it's lots of excitement, maybe, but it's lots of harshness. I don't know. And so then we look at the part of fortune, but we don't look at actually the part of fortune. We look at its antition, the antitia of the part of fortune. So the antitia of the part of fortune, because the part of fortune is here in the 4th house, 0 degrees Sag. So its antition is 29 Capricorn, because the point of the solstice points are where you go, and it's an amount of shadow. And it's like, okay, so So this is basically 29 and something points away from 0 Capricorn this way. And then so 29 something from Capricorn would be from 0 Capricorn would be 29 something. So the two things would add up to 30, or so hopefully that makes a little sense. But anyway, so the intuition or the shadow of the part of fortune is right here, conjunct the sun, which is Lord 1. But because it's in a different sign, that doesn't count. I don't think, according to his system. So, but we're just looking at house placements. And so again, the house placement for the antition of the part of fortune is in the 6th house, cadence. So nothing is in the important houses of 1st, 7th, 10th, or 4th. Now the part of fortune is in the 4th, but well, that's not what it's asking me. It says only the antition of the part of fortune. We're not looking at bodily at the part of fortune. So then we move on to aspects to or from the moon. And so we've already said, oh wait, am I there yet? Okay, yeah. So we look at the Lord placements, but we haven't looked at, sorry, you have to go back to looking at house placements for the antition of each of the lords of the houses. So the antition of Lord 1, the antition of the sun is in the 4th house, because we, like I said, 20 from 0 Capricorn, that's not, from 0 Capricorn, we go 31. And so then we go from 0 Capricorn, go 30 to 0 Sagittarius, and then 1. So it'd be 29 Scorpio. So that's here in the 4th house. So that favors the underdog, according to John Frawley's system. Having the antition of Lord 1 in the 4th house favors the underdog, because this is the underdog's victory house. Okay. And then the antition of Lord 4, which is because the antition of Lord 7 wasn't anywhere important. The antition of Lord 10 wasn't anywhere important, but the antition of Lord 4, which is the antition of Mars, and Mars is 24 Cancer. So we would, that's 24 points from 0 Cancer, because Cancer is the solstice point. So then we back up to 6 degrees of Gemini. So that would put it here in the 10th house. So the antition of Lord 4 is in the 10th house. So just like Lord 1 in the 4th house, having the antition of Lord 4 in the 10th house, now this is favoring the favorite. So we've got 1 favor, 1 point for the underdog or Notre Dame, and 1 point for Ohio State. Okay, sorry. And then we also look at the antition of the moon. And so the moon is at 22 Libra. And this one gets me a little confused. Do I have my little sheet to tell me what it is? I do. Okay. I can do better when it's Capricorn Cancer, because then when it gets to the other ones, I get a little confused. But so the antition of the moon is 7 degrees Pisces. So it's here in the 7th house. So, so that favors the underdog, because this is, again, the underdog's house. So we've got now 2 for Notre Dame and 1 for Ohio State. Okay, then we look at the aspects to or from the moon, the part of fortune, and we look at the bodily point of the part of fortune and the antition. And we also look at aspects to or from the dispositor of the part of fortune. Okay, so looking first at the aspects to or from the moon, and we've already discussed how the moon is applying to square Lord 4. Now, it doesn't care what the aspect is, unless it's in an opposition. I think that's different. But a square, all good. And it doesn't matter that this Mars is a mucky Mars in a mucky place. It just says it's a square. That's what's happening next. And so that is a favor for the underdog because it's Lord 4, which is the underdog's house. The next thing that it does, and you can give it up to 7 degrees. So we look at the moon and we go 7 degrees now because it's coming into almost a square to the sun, which would be Lord 1, which would totally cancel out. And because you want to, the last thing that it does is that's the one you count. Like if it, you can add up whatever it's doing before that, but the last one is the most significant one, the last aspect. But it would have to change signs to square the sun. So, and 7 goes only to 29. So it gets right there on, oh, guess what else was at 29? Capricorn. Boom, boom, boom. The moon applies to square the antition of Fortuna, or the part of fortune. So that favors the underdog. That it was like squares. And so because it's the moon applies to the square of the antition of Fortuna, that favors the underdog. So we've got now 1, 2, 3, 4 for Notre Dame and only 1 for Ohio State. And then there's one more thing. And we look at the outer planets, which is like totally not done in traditional astrology, but apparently you do. And Pluto, he says, is pretty significant, and it is far more detrimental to the favorite for some reason. He likes underdogs. Pluto likes the underdogs. But in this case, Lord 1, which is the ruling planet for the first house for Ohio State, is applying to this conjunction. It's already a tight conjunction. Like I said, it is 30 minutes. It's not a cazimi, although I don't even think Pluto can do a cazimi because it's so far away. But yeah, so it's applying, and anything that's applying is pushing to happen. And so that is a meh for Lord 1. And so that favors the underdog. So based on this system, I am going to say that, or based on John Frawley's system, his system says, that's what we're going to do. We're going to say his system, John Frawley's system for contests such as this one, says that Notre Dame is going to win.